Thanks for coming out, guys. I'm glad to be here. Just give you a quick recap. We are heading to the Great Lakes Valley Conference Championship meet this Saturday. We've got a great opportunity because our men's and women's cross country teams will be the first teams at Jewell to compete for a Great Lakes Valley Conference Championship. We have the opportunity to go to this meet because in cross country it is not an automatic qualifier to the national meet, and so for the other sports where the conference championship or the conference tournament is an automatic qualifier, they're kept from competing while we do have the opportunity. So we're fortunate in that. It will be the longest trip for us for the season. There are two schools in our conference that are ranked in the top 25 and several more that are just knocking on the door. So it's a tough conference for cross country. We had our first meet against GLVC competition last week at Missouri S&T, and we had several people finish in the top 10, in the top 15, and even in the top 20. So going into this conference meet, I feel confident that our athletes are ready, that they're running strong, they're feeling healthy right now, and don't want to jinx them, so knock on some wood. But it's been a great season so far. It's shorter than normal. We normally have about 2 or 3 more weeks, and so that's been an adjustment for us. But all the results should be posted up, live results. Actually, it's going to be kind of neat. This is not common for cross country, but they're going to have the timing system set up that every 2,000 meters of the race, so they will be able to give updated scores during the race. And so that'll be a first for us to experience that. But we look to have a good meet, look to have good top finishers, several people we think would be all conference, and we'll bring you more next time. Thanks for coming out.
Well, we are winding down our fall tennis season, and we had the privilege of sending a women's doubles team to national competition. Much like Tom was saying, we were lucky in the sense that we had an opportunity to qualify for nationals this year, being our first year in the NCAA. In the fall season, we play an International Tennis Association has regional tournaments across the country, and since they govern the tournaments, it allows us to qualify for a national competition. Now, when we play our spring season, when we qualify as a team, and we're governed by the NCAA during the spring season, we will not get to qualify this year for the conference tournament. But we had a number one doubles team of Paula Peters, who's from England, and Katie Layembauer, who is from North Kansas City High School. They qualified in doubles to the national tournament. A little bit of a humbling experience because we drew BYU Hawaii in the first round, who ended up winning the tournament. And then we played a team from Lynn University in Florida, and then also competed against a team from New York Institute of Technology. So it was a good experience. It was a good time to go there. There were only 8 doubles teams in the entire nation that qualified for the tournament, so it was somewhat of a privilege to go. And so we're excited about the prospects of what we have ahead of us this spring. We'll compete in the Western Division. We have a Western and an Eastern Division of our competition, and so we're excited that I've told both teams that my goal is to finish number 1 and be told we can't come to the conference tournament. So that's our goal, and we'll build from there. And recruiting has started up and amped up, and hopefully here in the next few weeks and months we'll get some signees that we can announce. Thank you for coming, and appreciate your support for Cardinal Athletics.
I want to start out by apologizing for the last Cardinal Club luncheon. I had an appointment that I could not get out of for that, and trust me, I will not miss one again, because as I hear, Coach Weigel, who did a great job filling in, promised everybody to come to the next Cardinal Club luncheon because Coach Cruzy was going to buy lunch for everybody who came. So I am going to be true to Coach Weigel's word, evidently, so I'll pick up your lunches today. Just so you guys know that. Please tip your waitress, though. I'll pick up the rest of it. So I won't miss any more because my wife won't be as happy. So anyway, as far as our season's going right now, we're coming off a stretch. We played 5 top 25, either top 25 opponents. The one opponent who is not has played for the last 3 NAIA national championships. Our record hasn't fared very well in the last 5. The promising thing is that we've competed very well at times against some very good competition, and we're playing a lot of young players. We traveled 18 true freshmen on our last road trip, and those guys are starting to see some significant playing time. So those things are going well. Unfortunately, when you play that many freshmen, you're going to have a lot of freshman mistakes, which we have our share of as well. But going forward here, our end of the season schedule, we've got 4 games to go. They're a little bit more manageable from a competition standpoint than maybe our last 5. We go to Missouri-Rolla or Missouri S&T this weekend in Rolla, Missouri, who's scored. They're 4-3 right now, I believe, and they've scored 118 points in their last 2 games. So they've kind of gotten a little bit of a roll offensively here the last couple of weeks. But watching them on film, they're not quite as good as the teams we've been seeing. So hopefully we can go down there and put some execution things together. Thought we did some really good things in the homecoming game. Had the ball inside the 30-yard line 5 different times. We're just unable to finish and put points on the board. And really, from a statistical standpoint, competed very well. They outgained us by 15 total yards in the game, and we didn't turn the ball over. So those things are all positives for a young team right now, and to stay in it as well as they have and compete as well as they have up to this point has been exciting. We practiced this morning at 6 a.m. when it was 31 degrees and probably had our best execution practice that we've had since I've been here. So those things are all positive, but we need to get a win this weekend and finish out the year strong, and we're looking to do that. So thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you here next month. Thanks.
Well, for those of you that do not know me, I think pretty much everybody does, but I'm the head swimming coach here at Jewell, and our season is off to a great start, and it's not just our season that's off to a start, it's the kind of the rebirth of the program. We had our first meet a couple weeks ago at the University of Missouri. It's a meet called the Show Me Showdown, where the University of Missouri invites every collegiate swimming program within the state, so it's a unique meet. It's a lot of fun. It's a good way to kickstart the season, and it's an opportunity for our team and every team to get up on the blocks and race. And the first time they do that during the season, it's pretty rusty, and they get an opportunity to work all the kinks out. And the amount of improvement that we saw from week 1 to week 2 was almost exponential. We competed against the University of St. Louis University and the University of Arkansas Little Rock. On the women's side only, and then St. Louis University on the men's side. And we were very fortunate to walk away from that competition with 3 individual wins against 2 Division I opponents. Freshman Maggie Metz from Topeka, Kansas, walked away with 1,000 freestyle. She won that race by almost 10 seconds. And then she also took down the field in the 400 IM. Which is a grueling event in swimming. It's kind of like the decathlon in swimming. You have to do all 4 strokes and the largest distance of them. She won that race by a good 6 seconds as well. And then freshman Sam Blacksher from Kansas City, Missouri, won the 50 freestyle against St. Louis University. On the men's side, we walked away with 6 school records, which I'm very proud of. It's nice to have those old records from the late 70s and early 80s as a kind of a motivating factor for all our guys. Hopefully by the end of the year we'll be able to take down almost every one of them, but we still have some work to do. On the women's side, we're still working on finding the records from when the program was in existence, but I'm confident that both of Maggie's swims in the 1,000 and the 400 IM were probably pretty close to it, if not school records as well. So our next competition is on Saturday, October 29th against Lewis University, which will be our first GLVC match as well as Division II. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the team does up in Romeoville. And thank you very much for your support, and thanks for coming.
Heard a comment that we're going from youngest to oldest, so I guess I qualify. Want to welcome each of you and thank you for being here. I know this is mostly department. We do have a couple of boosters here, and we certainly appreciate that. would like to introduce Coach Matt Sly. Most of you know him. Raise your hand back there, Coach, if you would. Matt's in his second year with us out of the great state of Florida and doing a great job working on his master's at Northwest Missouri State. Also want to mention other members of our staff. Tim Sutton is in his 7th year with us, and John Davenport is in his 4th year with us. I want to congratulate the other coaches, the fall sports. What a great start for us with NCAA Division II. We hope that we have similar success. I also want to mention Coach Jill Kress. She could not be here today. Her youngest daughter has a doctor's appointment, and so she said I could say anything about her I wanted to, and so here goes. They will go undefeated if they get any coaching at all, because the talent is certainly there. I do want to mention Steve Broughton. Steve Broughton is her assistant this year. Steve's a 1981 William Jewell grad. I had the opportunity to coach him his final 2 years. Very successful high school coach on the boys level at Truman High School and on the girls level at Green Valley. So it's great to have Steve back on campus. I know Dr. Bailey and others that are here in the room were in school with him back in that time. So it's great to see him on a daily basis. All kidding aside, Coach Kress has done a phenomenal job. In the last 10 years, they've been to the national tournament 7 times. She did have a good recruiting year, and I know she's anxious, along with her players, to get it started. She gets up at 3:45 every morning and drives up here from Blue Springs to practice at 5 or 5:30 at the starting time with their practices. So admire those young ladies. I know the football squad went early today. That's what the women's basketball team does every day. A little nostalgic for me, leaving the NAIA, Heart of America Athletic Conference, to go NCAA and the GLVC. Certainly exciting for me, kind of like a new beginning. This is my 33rd year of coaching here at William Jewell College. I was at Central Methodist College when the Heart of America Athletic Conference was formed in the fall of 1971, so been around that for a long time. Missed the press conference last week. It's my understanding someone took a photograph of me to put there on the podium, so I was present in some fashion. I'm sure they had some good words for me as well. The NCAA Division II move is a significant move for us. Matt's going to hand out a copy of our roster and our schedule for you. Someone asked me the question, how does this schedule stand up against prior schedules in the history of William Jewell basketball? I would say in my 33 years, this may be the most challenging schedule that we have faced. Now, we have always faced a great non-conference schedule, and I'm not apologizing about the NAIA or the Heart of America Athletic Conference. The Heart was a great, great lead. But we're playing in 23 NCAA Division II opponents this year. That's the most in the history of William Jewell basketball. And while NAIA is great basketball, probably the depth of good teams is a little bit different in the league we're going into. The league we're going into has the defending national champions. Bellarmine of Louisville, Kentucky won the national title last year. 4 teams from our league defeated Division I schools on the road. Bellarmine opens at Duke this year in an exhibition game. So that tells you the respect that a lot of people have for the Great Lakes Valley Conference and NCAA Division II. As far as our roster is concerned, we have 4 seniors on this year's squad. I won't go through the entire roster for you, but really looking forward to a fine year by all 4 of them, led by Nick Larson. Nick was a second-team All-American NAIA Division I each of the last 2 years. And a lot of Nick's success this year will probably be based on conditioning, specifically losing some weight. And he informed me yesterday what his weight was. I didn't actually see him on the scale, so I assume he's telling me the truth, but I think he's in the high 270s. And about 3 weeks ago, he was at about 290. So having a full-time weight and conditioning coach has been very helpful. Scott Odell, who obviously was with the football staff last year and has helped all of us in all of our sports, I want to certainly give him a shout-out. Having him help us with basketball has been outstanding. Nick, we look forward to a fine senior year from Nick. The other seniors, we have 2 other returning senior starters. Chris Ooze is our starting point guard out of the Miami, Florida area. Excellent 3-point shooter, probably more of a combo guard than strictly a point guard. but not many people work harder than Chris Hughes. Those of you that walk through the gym on a daily basis will see him out there putting a lot of shots up, putting in a lot of work in the weight room. The other senior starter is Mark Mason. Mark is out of Decatur, Alabama. Probably the fastest and quickest basketball player I've ever coached. He can get from inline to inline in a heartbeat, and we're looking forward to a very fine senior year out of him. The fourth senior is Mohamedou Sissoko. He's from Paris, France, played at a community college at North Platte in Nebraska, and is in his third year in our program, has improved immensely, and he's our backup at the center position. We have a 15-man squad. I will mention three of our freshmen that some of you might not be aware of. Dylan Deck is probably had the most honors coming out of high school, 6'9", out of Smithville High School. His high school coach, Chad Jones, played for us and was just inducted into our Athletic Hall of Fame a couple of weeks ago at homecoming. Have very high hopes for him. A young man from Liberty High School is Jordan Lewis, a 6-foot combo guard. Had a very fine career for the Blue Jays. Was a leading scorer in the Missouri-Kansas All-Star game at the end of last year. The third freshman we got late in the recruiting process. His name is Cyril Belong. He is from Cameroon, played at a prep school last year in East Lansing, Michigan. He's a wing player, and we have high hopes for him. We're looking forward to the year, excited about it. It's very unusual when I am coaching against 5 schools I've never coached against. This is my 44th year of coaching, 41st as a head college coach. I look forward to it. I'm excited, and appreciate all of you being here today to support Cardinal Athletics. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach. We'll be sure and report to Coach Kress how long he talked, because she will be. I just want to say a couple other things. Jefferson Robley, our soccer coach, was not able to be here today because one of his top recruits is on campus for lunch. But something notable from soccer, Troy Green, who is on our men's team, was our first ever Great Lakes Valley Conference Player of the Week a couple of weeks ago. And at that time, he was leading the league in scoring. I'm not sure that that's still the case, but he was got that honor for 4 goals scored in one weekend. And so we are kind of making a splash in soccer, and definitely the other schools in the league know that we're there. And the same can be said for volleyball. We've had a really great fall in volleyball, and Allison wasn't able to be here either, but they won 3 games last week in a crossover tournament where the Great Lakes Valley schools played the GLIAC, the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference schools, which is schools in Michigan and kind of the upper part of a Division II conference, upper part of the Midwest. And she went 3-0 against another conference in Division II. And so some really exciting times for those 2 programs, and they both are kind of winding up their seasons here this weekend and into next week. The men's team still has a chance. Like cross country, men's soccer can go to the conference tournament, and they still have a chance to qualify for the postseason tournament. So we're really excited about that. Just in closing, we did have a great homecoming Hall of Fame weekend, and I know I can't thank our staff enough for all the work they did for that. But then I want to single out Tom, Fred, Dr. Philpott, Steve, Walt. You guys are some of our very, very best supporters, and there's not a lot here today, but I know I can always count on you all, and we really do appreciate everything you do for our program through your support. So thanks a lot, and have a great day.